Okay, I'm being brave. I'm not in my hotel room, but I am as far away from people as I can be because I'm self-conscious about talking into my phone out in public. I hope you can hear me okay. And I have been actually inside the hotel for the last 2 days. I didn't get out yesterday at all because it was rainy. And as nice as everything has been, I wanted to step outside and get some fresh air. Plus, let you see some of this part of Houston. I'm gonna, I don't want to, I can't flip my camera around. So I'm just gonna do a little spin. Somebody's coming, so I'm gonna stop talking. But behind me, you can see what's probably a parking garage. This building looks kind of cool. I'm not doing it very good. There he goes. Behind me now is the Hyatt Regency, and as I've been you can see the elevators coming down, and as we're going up the elevators, we can see this beautiful garden. And I took some pictures. Let's see, the garden is behind me back there. I'll post a picture on Instagram of what that garden looks like from the elevator up there. But it's just pretty and sculptured and all of that. And so I thought, well, this would be a good place to come and chat before it gets too dark and to get some fresh air and to tell you, oh, I didn't even start the thing. Rats. Okay, now we're going. 10 minutes. Okay. I could be just, oh, anyway, I could just be looking at the timer on the video. Oh. Okay, Cher, if you're watching, this is raw and unedited. Today is day 3 of our music teachers conference. Today was the day that the students arrived, and you can see I'm wearing my cute East Texas Music Teachers Association ensemble t-shirt. I've got my bling with my little name tag and all of my ribbons that mean different things. Um, Ensemble. What was I going to tell you about ensemble? We played a song called Ice Cream Scoops that was written by a Texas composer, Susan Staples Bell. And I will see if I can tag her in this video. And I would like to have her join me on the podcast at some point. But the really fun thing about playing her piece was that, first of all, she is a live composer and she is here at the conference. So she was able to come and listen to our students perform her piece. And I think she was as delighted to hear it performed as we were to perform it for her, knowing that she was in the audience. And I'll post some pictures on Instagram, but we had our cute little soda, those paper hats that soda shop people wear, and an apron, and we got little ice cream scoops, and we just looked super cute. I think it's really important for piano kids to know that there are people alive writing music that is relevant to them now. Whenever I was learning to play music, well, my father wanted me to play church music, and so that was one focus that I had with my piano teachers. But then the classical music, it was a bunch of dead guy music, or it was something out of our method book, the whatever was teaching me how to play the piano using songs to do it. These days, there are so many musical options available for students. And having met so many composers that are living and composing and publishing today, I know that they are always thrilled whenever they hear from a student who is playing their music. Most of these composers, or a lot of these composers, are teachers themselves. My hair is lovely. They are teachers themselves, and so they understand that's the reason why they write a lot of their music. Susan told me that the song our ensemble played, Ice Cream Scoops, was written because she had a couple of siblings in her studio, and one sibling was a little more advanced than the younger sibling, so she actually wrote 3 parts. It was a trio, and the 2 more advanced siblings could play the middle part, and then the younger sister could play the high part, and then in the other family, the younger brother could play the lower part, or some combination like that. And then when they all came together for their lesson, they could play this trio together, and just a lot of fun. And it worked out really well for our ensemble because we have a mixed level. Some of our students, this was their first year, and so they were able to play their part that was not too complicated, something that they could keep up with. And then there was another part that was a little more challenging for our students who have done ensemble more than just 1 year. And when you play together in a group, there's so much more going on than just your part. When you play solo piano, you play your part. You can play at your speed. If you make a mistake, you can stop and try and fix it again. I've got somebody else coming over here. Blah. Okay, I'll be quiet. Hold on. I'm not going to be too quiet. Let's see. All right. I know I'm a silly girl. They can play their part and they don't pay attention to what's going on outside of them. They just play at their tempo, and if they make a mistake, they stop and fix it and go back. But when you play with a group of other musicians, you don't have that privilege. You've got to keep on going. You've got to keep a steady beat. You've got to listen to the other performers so you all stay together. I told my ensemble, this is not a race. We're not racing to see who can get to the end of the song first. We have to listen to each other and stay together and make it sound as if it's just one piano playing. And I was so proud of them. They did such a good job. They listened and they followed me when I asked them to play quieter. They did that. Stronger, they did that. And then after our concert was finished, I went to the exhibit hall and I got my picture made with Miss Susan Staples Bell. And so I'll post that on Instagram so that you can see that and give her a little shout out. But one of my students also went to visit Miss Susan Staples Bell and got her picture made with her. Susan signed her apron, and Susan was just as thrilled to meet this student as my student was to meet a living composer. And that was perfect for this student because almost every lesson, she comes to me with something that she's been tinkering with, maybe something she's heard on the movies or TV or radio that she wants to try to play by ear, and then she's kind of tinkering with new ideas. So for her to meet a composer that she has played her music, I think that could be transformative. And there are opportunities for your piano kids to be able to correspond with composers. Back a few years ago on the podcast, I interviewed Jennifer Eklund, who is the founder, creator of pianopronto.com. And her website is wonderful because she publishes for independent composers. She has a thing, I think it's called Composers Corner, Composers Community. Go to pianopronto.com and you'll be able to find it. And every song that she publishes, every piece of music that's published, has an audio track so your student can, or your child can listen to what it sounds like. If a title sounds interesting, they can listen to it and realize, oh yeah, I do want to see if I can learn how to play that. She lets you see a sample of the music, so if it matches, if it has as many dots on it as your piano kid's music, if you're not familiar with all the levels, elementary, intermediate, and all of that, check the dots, the music note heads, and if it's a kind of comparative, it looks similar to what your child is already playing, then that's probably a good piece for them to test out. She also has I think it's a sheet music wizard where it's like a leveler that that lets you pick specifically, oh, my child is just there, this is their first year, so we probably need an elementary piece and we want something that sounds happy, or anyway, explore that. But all of the composers on her website, as I said, they are living composers who love to correspond and interact and hear from students who are playing their music. After we did ensemble, I got to attend some other concerts, one from our performance winners, and I think I was talking to you yesterday about the fact that those are way higher caliber students than what I work with. And after that concert, which had music that I wasn't familiar with, so I enjoyed and I admire their work. But if I'm going to, you know, pull up Spotify and listen to music, that's probably not what I'm going to choose. And then after that concert, there was another concert for new faculty. And I really think that's a great idea. As new college faculty come into the state, then they're invited to perform in this concert. We get to know them, they get to show off their skills, and maybe meet other students that are going to be coming to their university. So I think the whole thing is really a great idea. But as I was listening, still some of the music wasn't exactly my cup of tea. And I was feeling kind of guilty, almost like I couldn't appreciate or didn't understand this kind of music. It was over my head. And it brought back a memory of when Dwayne and I, several years ago, went to Fredericksburg, Texas. And if you're not familiar with Fredericksburg, it's a nice little town in the hill country of Texas. It's not far from Lukenbach, Texas, if you've heard of that. And it's becoming known as like a winery place. Lots of wineries are popping up around Fredericksburg. So my husband and I booked a wine tour. And I was real intimidated when we stopped at the first place. I said, I don't know anything about wine. Baptist preacher's daughter. I haven't really drunk that much. I don't know a lot about it. And the first bartender, I guess, or the first guy behind the bar that where we went, he said, really, it's just a matter of taste. You find something that you like and you like it. Somebody else might like something else, and that's okay. There's really no science behind it exactly. It's just you like what you like. And I think the same can be said about music. You like what you like. The first faculty team that played today played selections from Porgy and Bess by George Gershwin. So that sounded kind of jazzy, and I really liked that. And then there were some other things. There was something by Chopin, which was beautiful, and I admired it. It just wasn't, it's kind of like that sip of wine. Okay, I can see how some people might like it, but I'm not going to buy it. I was glad for the sample. And then the last piece that was played was my cup of tea. It actually brought tears to my eyes. Some of the other pieces that I listened to, they were, as I said, they were enjoyable and they were fine. But the last one, that one moved me. That one connected with me. That was the one I would want to buy and take home. And thinking about your piano kid, there may be pieces of music that they really connect with, and there may be other pieces that they just have to get through because it's teaching them some important concept about music. But if you can keep giving them options, giving them new music, and there's so much to choose from, then you'll find something that really connects with them, and that can maybe get them over a hump. If they're kind of tired of practicing, sort of resistant to practicing, maybe just a new flavor of music will be just the thing. I told you I would try to keep these short, and it looks like we're already at 13 minutes, so I better sign off. If you have any comments or want to give me suggestions or something to look for, or another topic for the next video, you can direct message me on Instagram at Piano Parent Podcast. And yay, we made it. Talking out in public with people around. Oh my stars. So, but I'm going to go and have some dinner. Thanks so much for watching.